everyone, welcome back to Laugh, Wind and Perspire. I'm here with my co-host, the fabulous Cas. Cas, what are we talking about this week?
This week we're talking about body image
Okay.
and getting
Can we just say we are laughing because we were talking about things that have happened to us in our life. We're not laughing about, actually,
body
we're
image.
laughing about our body image.
Yeah, and smells
Yes.
and actually, as Neens, we were just talking before we started recording this about how Neens was saying that your thoughts on image have changed.
Yeah, well,
Not thoughts on image, sorry. What is it, Neens? What are we trying to say?
I don't know what you're trying to say. I know
You're trying to, I'm trying to say that you're more,
basically, it's not all about aesthetics anymore.
that's what I was trying to say, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I still like to be the sort of best version. Actually, that's a load of bollocks. I don't really, do I? Let's be real. I I have now changed my thought process with huge thanks to Cas, and that is just about being healthy.
Yeah.
So as opposed to I want to lose weight. So I'm not eating to lose weight. I don't think, oh God, I'm on a diet, it's a chore. I kind of think I want to fuel my body with better stuff.
Yeah.
I want to walk a little bit more because actually it's people like yourself and Kate Rowan that kind of go, motion is lotion, as does Jojo, Titless Wonder. And you're right, motion is lotion. And if we don't look after our bodies, which is our whole mechanic, then we're not going to be able to walk upstairs, are we? We're not going to be able to do certain things. And I don't want to have to rely on somebody or move into a bungalow because I can't do stairs at the age of 60. But that does happen.
That's hun. And
Yeah.
also there's the fear. I think, I mean, I've always been fearful of my body disabling me. Always. It's been a massive thing for me because I've seen in the work I've done that unnecessarily, through their lifestyle choices that their
Yeah.
bodies have become. But I always want to know as well, Neens, why, what is it? So if you had a lovely car, say you bought your dream car and it was a petrol car, and then you wouldn't put diesel in it, would you? Because it wouldn't make it work properly. So
Obviously
why
not,
do
no.
we fuel ourselves with lovely food and then equally put stuff inside us that's a bit shitty?
Because we look at that as treats, don't we? We
Yeah.
do. We do. We look at the bad stuff as treats, and I think it's a bit, it's a bit of a dopamine hit. I'm going to put it out there. If I have a bit of chocolate, yeah, it makes me happy. I get excited about a family bag of Maltesers in the evening. I don't get excited about. Do you know what? That's a lie. I was going to say I don't get excited about a salad, but I do get excited about a Caesar salad if I'm going out for lunch, and that's what I fancy.
Yeah.
So food excites me.
Yeah.
Food excites me.
It
But
gives you that, oh, it's like happiness. It's like it's a happiness that is just encompassing for you, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
It's just, oh. But
yeah.
then, but then what happens? But then means, say you have something that you think isn't nutritionally dense.
I don't
Because
even
no
know what
food
that means.
basically means no food is bad for you. There are just some foods that are better for the body than other stuff. So say you had something that isn't like, okay, say a lovely chicken salad, and then you went and have a big fat burger and chips, which isn't bad for you. Then you go, oh, that was delicious. And then so many people go, I shouldn't have had that. And you go, well, why shouldn't you have had that? You're not having that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. You went out, you had a lovely burger, you had chips, you were with your mate, you had a laugh. Why shouldn't you have that? It's like, why does our mind
Mind. Yeah,
give us that anger and that depression? And then we come down again,
yeah,
like emotionally, and then we think, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna have some chocolate.
yeah. But I think as I've got older, I don't cane myself as much.
No.
To be fair, I've never really caned myself. I can remember my mum in my teens going, why are you spending your Saturday job on Kentucky? Because I like it. And my mum was like, yeah, I like it.
Do you think there's an element, because of the way your mum is or was and is, do you think there's an element of rebellion towards, like,
I don't if it's rebellion. I'm just quite happy. It's not like I look at myself and think I'm unhappy. I look at other people and I would think, oh, I'd love to look a bit more like that. But I'm not going to starve my body to get there. I wouldn't say, I do it, I say it to wind her up. Like, you know, she'll go,
Yeah.
you're having another one. And it's like, no, I'm having another 3. So I suppose that is a bit of rebellion, but it's because actually, don't shame me into it. But there is a thing with my mum. Her mum died at 52. So when she hit
Right.
52, she was always worried. Worried. What am I next Friday?
52.
Exactly. And I know because in a previous year she has said, you know, I don't want you to be the size that you are when you're 52. You know, you need to be healthy, blah, blah, blah. And I get what she's saying. I mean, she's doing that with my best interests at
Of
heart.
course, yeah.
So I'm probably the biggest I have been, and I know that that will worry her.
It's funny, isn't it? Because also, you know, it's like when you have the Haze movement, which I dislike.
Never heard of
Okay.
it.
HAES, health at every size. And it's a movement that's been brought in. Actually, I didn't realize you did a live with Kate the other day, but I caught up a bit on it the other night.
Gave you a couple of
And
mentions, babe.
oh, bless you. But
Thank you.
Kate's ethos, you know, it's the same as my ethos as well.
Yeah. So it's like so there's a health.
Yeah, so there's health at every size. It's a movement. Actually, that's what Kate was saying. So it's like suddenly us larger women are now embarrassed to admit that they want to lose weight, because it's like, you don't have to lose weight. Okay, so I've been working in this industry for, fucking God knows, nearly 25 years. I've seen women, I'm going women here, women's bodies disable them from overeating and lifestyle, you know, like not just that, mental health and stuff, and also undereating, and, you know, we eating disorders from anorexia to there is not health at every size. It's not about that either. It's about being comfortable, being able to do things you want to do. Like you said, Neens, going up a set of stairs, whether, you know, it's still out of breath, whether you're like tiny or whether you're big, but it's whether your heart is functioning properly, whether your lungs, mental health, whether your stress levels are lower than, and it's not too high and you're not stressing about stuff every day. It's a whole thing. And
Yeah.
weight, size, image is the byproduct of all of that.
So image is something that we have been brainwashed, really. Yeah.
Like
Image,
if you look a certain way, you'll get this boyfriend. If you look a certain way, you'll get looked at. If you look a certain way, that clothes will look better on you. If you look a certain way, you'll be more popular. If you look a certain way, it's absolute fucking bullshit.
yeah, but you know,
But
and I do think, you know, it is changing. Brands are now wanting to work with myself and Claire on Size by Side, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Those who don't know, Claire's a 10, I'm an 18. But so that is great. You know, I do feel like people are being more positive, but I went for an MOT check at the doctor's the other day, and my diabetes, my, you know, all my blood sugars, my blood pressure, they said, you know, they were basically saying for somebody of my size, they were quite surprised that my blood pressure was so good, because, you know, I'm putting it out there, you know, I'm heavy. I'm 14 and a half stone. I'm 5'6". But in my defense, and it is in my defense, I've never been light. And I do think there is something in this BMI thing, Cas, where even at a size 8 to 10, I was 10 stone 10. I've never been light. Now, I don't know if it's my skin's thicker, my bones are heavier, but I'm telling you, I really believe that people, I can remember Freya and DB's son. DB's son was bigger, stockier, and taller. We picked them both up. He was like a feather. She was smaller build and smaller in height. She was solid. So this BMI thing, listen, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I have got to get some weight off. I have. for my health, and they said that. But I truly believe that some people, or you could put me the same height and the same height and the same size as somebody, right, exactly the same, but they could be 12 stone and I'm 14 and a half stone. Would you go with
See,
that?
yeah, I mean, we all want to say that our, you know, my bones are heavier, my this, I've got more this, I've got more that. Generally, BMI in adults is a really difficult area. So we, in the health profession that I work in, we go on, so we go in for more in depth. So we would do muscle mass, where your fat is distributed around the
Yeah, they
stomach,
did that. Yeah.
around your vital organs and all that. And the weights of BMI means I've never been light. When I was before I was going in for my hysterectomy, I was probably at my fittest. I actually I've never really weighed myself, but they had to weigh me because you have to get weighed before you have your general anaesthetic. I was fit as slim, small. I was at my normal sort of a 12, big size 10, 12, you know, that kind of. And the nurse put me on these scales and said, just so you know, you're a little bit overweight. And I was just like, I just said, it's such a distorted weighing measurement. I said, you don't know what my muscle mass is, you don't know how much water I've got. I said, you don't know where my fat mass is. I said, you can't. I said, I'm a personal trainer at that time, but now it's a different ball game because of like where the fat's distributed around my tummy. I never had that. But what I am doing now more of is I'm getting my weights up. I'm doing my cardio, which I love. You know, I love it, Neens.
Yeah.
It's for me. I love it, but it's not. It's less aesthetics now. It's less aesthetics because of what going through the menopause twice, going through breast cancer, going through surgical menopause. It made me feel so shit physically, not the actual operation, but what our estrogen levels when they drop and how we feel so tired and lethargic. I mean, you know, Neens, and mentally we get that emotional, we're just flat.
Yeah.
So now it's so much more about feeling good.
But do you think that's because people are talking about that more? Do you think it's just that we're getting older and it's like, well, do you know what? It is about health now. It's not about image. Or do you
I
think
mean,
it's a
for
bit of
me
both?
personally, Neens, it's always been about health because of my job, and the image was a lovely byproduct of it. But I think it's more common now that women are realizing the importance of actually it's good for my body. It's not just about not having wrinkles and not having grey hair, and it's about feeling good. It's about being able to run upstairs after my grandkids, or you know, not feel like I need to go to sleep every afternoon for a nana nap. It's loads and loads of.
All right. So we've learned that, which is great. What about the younger generation when it comes to body image? So, as much as there is good stuff out there, and there are girls out there and boys that are, doing sort of plus size. And when we're talking plus size or mid size, we're talking 14, 16, 18.
I hate
There
that
are
word as
people
well,
out there
Names.
that are
I
24. Sorry.
I hate the word plus size. Why? You're just a size. Sasha
Yeah.
Polari is a
Yeah.
plus size model.
She is beautiful.
Why is she a plus size model? She's just a model that wears a size, I don't know, 18, 20, whatever it is.
I think it's just, and you're right, I do use plus size because then I think it's easier for people to find me on social media or, yeah, because because we've been programmed to use.
I messed when I first was chatting to Sasha, I said to her, "Why do you call yourself a plus size model? You're a model." And she said, "That's what the modeling agencies call
Yeah.
her."
And
Cool.
that's how they'll find her. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think
Yeah. That's
because
a really good point.
realistically, every brand, every not realistically, what should happen is every brand should have, if you want to go from size 4 to 40, whatever it, whatever,
As long as you're healthy.
as long as you're healthy.
Because let's be honest here, to be big, you know, and to carry lots of extra weight, it can be unhealthy. And that's why I want to get my weight down a bit, you know, because of health reasons. That came from the GP. She was like, look, everything is great, but you need to lose weight. You need to get your BMI down a bit, and that's fine. And I take that on board. So I'm just trying to cut out a little bit of shit. I mean, trust me, the amount I eat treat wise, I deserve to be double the size of that. So actually, I've been quite lucky. Honestly,
You're
you know,
actually doing all right.
I've had a ball getting it, but now I just need to curb it. Not loads, just a bit. You know, if I cut back a tiny bit, I might, you know, drop a few pounds, and that's great. But, you know, somebody like Freya, my daughter, she is 16. She's kind of, you know, been worried about her weight. I mean, listen, she is my child. You know, she's got an absolutely stunning figure. You know, she's very curvaceous. But she will look at, you know, she'll follow girls that are that size and be like, oh my God, amazing. But she'll also follow other girls. But when she was at school, her friends were all tiny, tiny. She couldn't understand why she was so voluptuous and curvaceous. But now she's fine with that. She does go to the gym 3 times a week. She loves it for her mind. And that is
amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
And does she seem happier? Like, does she love the exercise? Does she seem happier when she comes back from the gym in herself?
She's happy with her body, and she is, you know, she is curvaceous. She's generally sort of 12 to 14, but that's again, that's not big. But because you see so many thin models, as we always have, you know, but she will follow, and you know, she'll love Sasha.
Yeah.
Because she's a real sort of positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and Sasha is beautiful, isn't she?
Just been on stage, yeah, with like a short little dress on and just performed, and you just think it's.
So is there more? Is there? Okay, there. Right, we were fed TV and magazines when we were younger. We didn't see anybody chubby or fat. You didn't really, did you? Or if
really
you did,
remember,
they were portrayed as a bit of a joke, would you say?
Yeah.
You know, as the jokey person. Whereas now, you know, there are fuller figured women, you know, etc., that are representing themselves, and brands are now representing them, which is great. So although Freya, I look at this as a 16-year-old, is seeing, you know, a size 16, 18 model, and also seeing a size 6, 8, 10 model, there's so much more being bombarded constantly.
Well,
is it a case of, is that a good thing that she's seeing everything, or generally for a body image, is it all too much what we're seeing?
I think it's way too much, because also, actually, did you see on the news? Yes, it was yesterday, that children as young as 9 years old.
Don't even get me started on that. Pornography. Let me tell you something. At the age of about 5, and it stayed with me, I did see pornography, but it was my dad's magazines. I found them, and I remember thinking, this is dirty, this is wrong. I went back to look again. And again, but it was a dirty secret.
It's horrible.
Yeah. So at 9, I mean, and mine, you know, the magazines I were looking at, it wasn't like pulling the hair and, you know, doing them up the bum. Whereas, I'm sorry, but that is what a lot of it is like. Like, it's just objects.
And the image of the men and the women, if it's a straight porn image, so the women are have to have like false boobs, no body hair, which I don't have anyway, because I don't like body hair personally, but it's not like a thing. It wasn't a fashionable thing when I used to take all my body hair off, like false boobs, and the males have to look all beefed up, and they're the domineering one, and they're the one that's giving it to them, and then all female is going, oh yeah, baby, you're so good. That's fucking shit. So it's completely, so they're growing up in their teenage years thinking, the girls thinking they've got to look a certain way, with, you know, all sort of big boobs, everything false, and the men thinking they've got to look a certain way and domineer the woman.
Do you know what as well? What I don't like about that is at the age of 9, when people have been subjected to something like that, I'm sorry, but you look at that and you think to yourself, I shouldn't be seeing this. It's wrong. It's dirty.
Yeah.
But you still go with it, I suppose, because it excites you a little bit. But it's like a sordid secret. So then when you do sex, and I'm you know, sometimes for me, sex was more of a naughty thing. It wasn't really a love
A
thing.
love,
I think because
yeah.
of how young I was. But there's something has got to change. And I do think it will change. And I think it will be the generation right now that are about 20 that have never lived without social media. I do think they will start to have kids, and I think it will start to change because they know what they've been subjected to. They will not want their kids to be subjected to that, I hope.
I don't know if that can, Neens, because of social media, because they can act, but kids have got phones. You just go, if we wanted to watch porn now, we'd just go on there and have a little look.
It's
So if
wrong.
they've got
But there are
phones,
settings like that
yeah,
you can
but only if your
change.
parents have settings. But then, so you
But you
think
see,
if you've
that's
got,
where I think parents need to be
absolutely,
like educated in you know.
this is what you can. It's so funny because even I've got, you know, some lovely friends, and even when I talk about things that I've seen through my work and what I kind of know, and they're like, oh, well, you know, Susie wouldn't be doing that. I went, babes, wake up and smell the fucking roses. Because even if Susie isn't doing it, you've got her mate Sally her mate Sally at school who's got the phone that they're all looking at together. So even if you've got parental control over it, your child's phone, there's other kids there, other kids.
That
It
is so
needs,
true. Because I know someone that was like, well, my daughter wouldn't vape. And it was like, yeah, fair play. Saw her down the pub, round the back.
vaping.
Yeah. I wouldn't throw her under the bus, but it's like she wasn't as, you know, someone that I could say that to. I
Yes,
think it would go down that well. But it's like, but Freya's vape.
yeah,
She told me she's vaped. I've seen her vape.
yeah.
I have said to her, darling, you want to be a singer? Not the wisest thing to do. I smoked. You
And
know,
you were told to give up smoking, weren't you, Names? Were you told
no.
not for singing? Nobody told you to give up.
Oh God, yeah, all the time. But do you know what was
Ah,
interesting in the music industry when I worked there years ago? Interestingly, as a vocalist, right, in a pop group, like a dance sort of stepsy thing, they were banged on at me, all the music companies and the management, about my weight more than they did smoking. Well, they didn't really mention it. And then when I lost the weight, then they said, right, now you've got to stop smoking, because I had to lie about my age, so they wanted my skin to look really good. So interesting that it was all about the
or
weight.
image, even when even
I lived on the cabbage soup diet for ages.
windy. That's probably why you still smell now. It's probably
That,
ingrained in your cells.
quite possibly, quite possibly.
But
But
do you know what? Do you know what, Names? My thing is as well. You know, I'm sure I've said this quite a few times. My mum died of obesity, a blood clot to the lung due to morbid obesity. But the thing that makes me the saddest is she dieted all her life, and you just think all her life she had a dysfunctional relationship with food, and then she goes and dies of obesity, and you're like, fucking hell, you could have
when
eaten that cake, mum.
did she know that she was overweight?
Oh,
Yeah, she knew it. She just loved food.
no, well, yes, well, mum's love, but it's the psychological issues that go around what that are why somebody overeats are the same issues or why somebody doesn't eat. There's a psychological issue why somebody will binge. Obviously, not like you and me, Neens, where we'll eat a packet of Maltesers and go, "Oh my god, that was delicious." We're talking quite severely overeating, hiding it. My dad got very ill. Mum couldn't look after herself, and dad. I mean, my mum was always like a nice, she's probably like a nice size 16. She was fit, she exercised, she didn't really drink or didn't smoke. Loved cook. She was an amazing cook, chef, cook. And then my dad got ill, and then it was tiresome for her to diet. It's hard dieting. It's hard. That's why they never work, because they're not sustainable. And then she started eating, looking after my dad. And then when you start not caring and just sort of, she just used to like buy ready meals because it was easiest because dad was really ill. This is mental breakdown. And then it just got to a stage where I think a lot of the time, people who get to a stage where, I mean, she was properly limping. She could hardly walk. She was, I don't know, size 32. That's the biggest I know in clothes. And you just think, where do you go from there? Do you know what I mean? For her. And then you just think, but the thing that makes me unhappy is that she died unhappy. Like
Yeah,
if
you've never got past that, have you?
no, Neens. And I just think, you know, life is for living. Yes, it is. And like you and I, Neens, we are very on the same page and we love life and we love doing fun things. And but also it has got to, we have got to understand that to do more of that, we do need to look after
After
ourselves.
ourselves, yeah.
And it's not, you know, we're not, like you said, instead of having a family bag of Maltesers at night, you might start having a little treat size bag. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's little things that you change. It's not, we're not saying, right, you have now got to, you know, have quinoa for lunch, lick a bit of lettuce for dinner, and then that's it. Which is the restriction of diet is just a fucking
Well,
misery.
see, this is really interesting as well. And this is something I was at the office yesterday, and as you know, I work at an office full of predominantly women. And we were talking about diets, and they were all going, oh, you know what, I'm fasting, I'm dieting, blah, blah, blah. They're predominantly younger than I am, they're 30 and under. And I said to them, girls, let me tell you something. I am no image, right, for dieting. But, and this again, this is you, Cas. Diets don't work. And they're like, well, how can you say that? I said, look at me. I've tried every diet in the book.
Yeah.
Can you say that's worked? And you know, Miles did the keto last year. He looked great for 6 months. Then when
He's
he
put it all
stopped,
back on.
yeah. So actually, it's not rocket science, but it's taken me ages to get here. Diets don't work. They are a temporary fix. It's
Yeah.
about changing your eating habits, would you say?
Yeah, your thought process as well, and allowing yourself. It's like if I said to you, you're never allowed to eat Maltesers ever again, you'll start thinking, fuck, I'm craving that. So it's like it's a restriction named, you know. It's like if you allow yourself, like I've got a client at the moment, we're working with her eating and disorder and stuff. It's like a family packet of crisps, you know, the big packets of, I love the Walker's Thai sweet chili, but I can have a big packet and I'll just pour some into a bowl and have a bowl of crisps, because years ago when I used to restrict, I'd had to binge it and quickly eat it and forget about it.
Now you
So
see that's interesting because
I'm
what
not enjoying it.
me pouring them into a bowl
Yeah.
and putting the rest back, that to me is restriction. I would eat the whole bag. I'm
What?
just putting it out there.
But you can, what, but that's all right, Names.
It's not really, is it, Cas?
It's not, but it's like, what, why do you eat the restriction? Why do you eat the whole bag?
Because I'm enjoying it. And I'll be honest with you, let's take these new bags of giant Watsits, Walker's Watsits. If you are watching, please sponsor me. Because I absolutely love them. Any flavour, don't care. I start and I think, oh God, I probably get to about 4 left and I think, all right, I've had enough now. But then I think, what's the point in leaving 4 in a packet?
Yeah.
So I just finish it. However, I'm trying not to buy it. And again, is that restricting myself? Yeah, but I know what I'm like. If it's there, I'll eat it. If it's not there, I don't really think about it.
And that's the thing, isn't it? So what, okay, so if you can't restrict like a big bag of Maltesers, you'd eat the whole lot. Just buy a smaller bag and then you can eat the whole lot.
Yeah, but
And
you
then you
see,
just,
there pisses me off straight away, because a bigger bag is 125 now. A small bag with 8 in it is 89p. What are you going to go for?
yeah, but you can, no. It's not about the money, because you can actually afford that, but you just won't do it because you're getting better
I
value
want value for money.
Maltesers and,
Anything, I
but
want value for money.
but also, Nick, let me just quickly say, with the fasting trend, do you know the word breakfast? It's called breaking the fast. That's why it's called breakfast. Break, fast. You knew that, didn't you?
Obviously.
Break fast.
Right.
So that is why it's called breakfast, because you have your dinner normally eat between 6 and 7, 7 the latest. I don't like eating late. And then I've had my breakfast at, so I had my dinner last night about 6, and I had my breakfast at 9 this morning.
Well, you know, it's interesting.
That's 15 hours fasting.
Right. Let me tell you something as well, though. If fasting worked, I'd be skinny. Because when I worked full time, this is only going back a few years, I would genuinely finish eating at about 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. I wouldn't eat again till 2, 3 o'clock the next day.
Whoa.
I wasn't eating healthy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't want to have to eat healthy and not eat much. I'm either going to eat a lot.
Of health.
Yeah. I can't remember what I was going to say then. Which
Basically, you know what to do, Neens, and you're much better with it. And,
but that's
the lovely thing,
you, hon.
and when the lovely thing you said the other day, which I loved seeing you out walking, and like you were like in nature, and you know, people might go laugh at it, but do you know what? It for one, it's free. You only have to put your shoes on and go out. You don't have to want to drive to a gym. You don't want to sit in a gym environment. Totally fucking get that, and you've got to find what works for you. You'll see what I never post what I eat on Instagram. I never, because like so many people say, Cas, what do you eat? It's irrelevant what I eat, because might not be what you eat. You've got to find what works for you. It's like what I love and what you love are two different things. Do you know what I mean? You've got to find what works for you.
You need to do more on your Instagram. Sorry, but you do, because you are very, very motivational. Listen, as someone that can change my mindset and actually get me off a sofa, and Jojo, Titless Wonder, we're both similar creatures, that says a lot for you. Honestly. No, it does though. And I think that's why you really, really need, you just need to get more of you out there.
All right.
Okay, well, I'll leave you on that note.
On that, love you.
Anyway, love you more. Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, please subscribe wherever that button is.
Is there or up there, wherever you are, down.
Just subscribe, that's great. And we're always available on all good podcasts, things like Spotify, iTunes. There's probably one called Podcasts. There's probably one called Just Listen with your headphones in. I don't know where they all sit, but
Poddy McPodcast.
You know it. Thanks for watching.
Love ya.
Thanks. My mother's going to kill me. I don't know where this has come from.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Absolutely. Namaste. Until next time. Bye-bye now.
Bye.